Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Yang Gang Fitness Talks. Today I'm joined by Karl and Aaron as a special co-host. We're going to go over Karl's fitness journey and talk about things special to him in the fitness world and Yang Gang world. Welcome guys, how you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Good. What's up, guys?
Am I the first? Am I the first person to have two hosts? Or
We did a test co-host thing with Jeannie last week.
damn,
All
yeah, I saw
right.
that one. Damn, I thought I was special. It's all good.
You're the first one with Aaron. Aaron's
All
first
right,
co-hosting gig, so we're trying out just different people. See who likes it, who doesn't. Maybe we'll have a permanent co-host somewhere down the line.
sounds good, man. Aaron,
All right.
I hope I make you proud.
Hope I make you proud, guys.
We got Bugs in the chat. He's joining us. A little celebration. Oops. All right. So, Karl, tell us, how you got your fitness journey started and where you are now and where you want to take it.
Yeah. So basically, for me, it all started. Um, when I graduated college, I played soccer all through college, and I've always been a person where, from as long as I can remember, I've been playing some kind of sport. All right, I've been, whether it's basketball, flag football, soccer, whatever, year round. I'm playing sports, and then so I did that all through college, and then when I graduated college, I got a job, and I couldn't play soccer as much just because you got to work and you got to pay bills, and so I saw my fitness going down a little bit, started deteriorating, and I think I was like 25 or 26 years old. I woke up one day, um, like I just started having back pain for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and I'm like, yeah, this has never happened to me before. I didn't do anything the night before or whatever, and I just started seeing that my fitness just started deteriorating because I wasn't a year-round athlete anymore. So decided to start getting back into it. Started playing men's soccer. Started training. Started lifting a little bit. And then I started to see both my physical. I felt some physical changes, and then I started some of my athletic performance getting better just because I'm training consistently and started getting back to that college routine, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So just started doing that, and then I realized that I could help people sort of train as well to kind of regain that athleticism that they had in college, whether you are an athlete or you are not an athlete, or if you just kind of want to find out what you can do. So I signed up. I became a certified personal trainer,
Nice.
um, and then started training clients. Started learning a lot, and started becoming more and more interesting. Fitness is one of those things where the more you learn, the more you want to keep learning. Like when you find
Yeah.
out when you start learning about things that you don't know, you're like, holy crap, man! I'm trying to see what this is all about. So I just kept learning, and I got into it, and it's been an amazing journey ever since. And it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So, what do you
Yeah.
focus on as a personal trainer? Just the workouts, or do you do nutrition and sleep cycles and all that's all encompassing?
So my certification only allows me to do certain things. My scope of practice is I'm a certified personal trainer and a fitness nutrition specialist. But don't let that name fool you though. The fitness nutrition specialist isn't really um, that qualified of a nutritionist or a dietitian. Um, Basically, what I can do is I can prescribe, I can put you through workouts. But when it comes to nutrition, I can say, hey, it's really healthy to eat, your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, and it's healthy to drink water, and it's healthy to get good rest. But I can't detail out a meal plan for you. You're saying, all right, when you wake up in the morning, eat eggs, eat peanut butter, eat this. I can't give you a workout plan. I can give
Okay.
you general fitness advice. That's my scope of practice. If you want to be able to give that level of detail to someone to give someone a diet plan, you have to be a dietitian, like a licensed dietitian, or like a doctor.
Right.
I just
Right.
can't do that. But for me, I used to do online workouts, so I could write up workouts for clients, and obviously I could do it when I was doing in person training as well. So um, But I also I do check-ins every once in a while, just see how you're doing, see how your mental state's doing.
Okay.
Making sure that, because stress can be a huge factor
Oh yeah.
in a fitness journey. So I like to check in on people and remember that they're not just clients, they're real people. They got kids, they got wives, husbands, they got mortgages, they got rent payment, they got everything. So I try to just make sure that I'm training a human being and that I'm not just training a client who's paying me every month. So
Yeah.
that's what I try to do.
And what do you notice from like during these COVID pandemic times, during the past few months? Like, I don't know, how have people been coping with the stress and not being able to access the gym, all that?
So it's tough, man. So I've noticed. So I recently I started training high school and college soccer players, trying to get them ready for a season, and everybody's been hit really hard. I think everybody's been hit a little differently because for athletes, if they don't go to the gym, they feel like they're not getting their best workouts in, and
Right.
so they fall into these traps, which is I call it the at least it's something trap, where you'll see a 16-year-old soccer player who's trying to make sure they're ready for a season, and they're training. They're not training the right way. They're going for 2-3 mile runs, and they're doing 100 squats, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups in their living room, and they say, hey, at least it's something. I can't get to the gym. And so it's been really tough for that population because they haven't been, I've noticed a lot of kids just aren't getting ready for eventually when they need to get back to the field. But I've also seen a lot of friends who aren't athletes who are, they're not just, software engineers anymore. They're software engineers who are chefs, who are project planners, who are fitness instructors for their kids, who are, they're wearing a lot more hats. So, telling someone, hey, it only takes 15 to 20 minutes to get a workout in. Man, that 15 to 20 minutes they got, man, that's like a nap time that's like a small amount of time that they have. So it's hit everybody a little bit differently, like I've seen, but I just try. My philosophy as a trainer is I tell my clients, get your workouts to fit into your life, not the other way around, right? Don't get your life to fit around a workout. And because you are a human being, you have other responsibilities. Yes, exercise is important, and exercise can help you lead a better life. But we gotta make sure that you're taking care of the human being, not just a client.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
yeah, it's
That's
tough,
awesome.
man. It's real tough.
I bet. What you said on Instagram, you've been doing your daily posts a lot, and then you moved to Twitter when you saw YGF. Is that what happened? Because those videos are ridiculous.
So it's been a combination of a few things, to be honest with you. So one of the things that I realized was that number one is I also I use Facebook quite a bit as well. And I would post fitness tips. I've never really posted videos, just mostly tips, just how to train better, how to who I know as nutritionists that I know can help, things like that, basic nutrition, sort of tips. But then I honestly, I did an inventory of my Twitter. I just kind of looked at my audits, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty toxic on Twitter, man. Like I get into like some stupid discussions out there. And I'll be honest with you. So I looked through, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. So I went through them and I did a cleanse on my Twitter. I just removed a whole lot of conversations that I had. I just deleted a whole bunch of nonsense. And I was like, listen, let me try to inject a little bit of positivity from my side into Twitter. Let me help people. Let me show off a little bit my new gym space because I got a gym and nobody else got a gym.
Yeah. Sick, man.
Yeah, that was cool. That was one of the things, man. I think I lucked out because I started building that in like early February. I started building it, and then like March hit, and they're like, "Yo, gyms are closed." I'm like, damn.
You got it just in time.
Yeah.
But before people try to like buy all the barbells and weights, and like when it was all sold out, and wow, that's awesome. You just had it all before all that happened.
beginning of April. So I bought like a bunch of bands and a TRX setup for like $99 on Amazon in February, and then I looked again in April, and the bands were sold out, and the TRX setup was like $200.
Oh, wow.
It was
Jeez.
insane. It was insane. I was like, yo, if I bought this a month later or a couple months later, I would have been spending twice as much. It was
Yeah.
crazy, man. But like I was saying, so I started using Twitter just because, I wanted to kind of inject a little more positivity. And
Awesome.
then right around the same time, I saw, Yang Yang Fitness was happening. I was like, yo, this is perfect. This is my way in.
Yeah.
So I started posting videos and got some good responses, man. And you guys took me from like 120 followers who I was just fighting with all day to like 500. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
been real.
man, you put a lot of work for getting those videos together. I really appreciate them. I think I have every single one bookmarked.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, for when I have my sprint training in the, I usually start that in January. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's good.
be,
Yeah, you got
I'll be
that.
going through that.
Yeah, man.
Bugs,
Listen, I'm here to help.
you got a question from Bugs. He wants to know how you came up with your workouts. They're pretty unique.
Yo, Bugs is a Tottenham fan, so I don't know if I want to talk to him right now. We're rivals. I'll answer him just because I'm here. He's the first one, probably the only one. So I actually work with a speed coach. This guy Mike Whiteman from Hounds from Pennsylvania. He's an absolute beast. I've retweeted some of his stuff. So starting in March, he kind of designed my programs for me, but what I've been doing is so he's been sending me my workouts and I do them, but he's also like a great mentor. Like I learn a lot from him. So sometimes I'll inject some of my stuff in there, but as long as the end goal is in mind, I'll put in some of the things that I like to do, some of the new workouts that I want to try. And he's like, listen, that's cool, man. Listen, get creative with it. His one of his things he tells me is that a workout, if somebody writes you a workout plan, it's not a roadmap. It's a compass. It's just a guide, right? You go ahead and you put in what you think. As long as you got the short term and the long term goals in mind, you go ahead and you get creative and have fun with it. So Mike's been writing my programs for me, and then I put in some of my stuff, and then I record them, put them together, and just post it up. But yeah, that's how I get my sessions in.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
He says humanity first. Bro.
Humanity first.
Humanity first, bro.
Right.
Always.
Sure.
Always.
Yeah, man. So how do you see Yang Gang Fitness helping you grow, or because we don't want to always just take from you and learn from you. How do you think our community can help you? I know you said you got more followers, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, my biggest thing is because I'm a personal trainer part-time, but I have a full-time job as well. I work for a tech company in Boston.
Wow.
So for me, training, like right now, especially for the past 6 months, it's been all about helping people.
Nice.
Whatever I can do to help, I tell people just reach out to me directly. I'm more than happy to, I might not design a workout for you, but I might help you just get started.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to stress is I absolutely love it when my favorite type of training is like sports performance training.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. It's great for athletes, but it's also great for people who aren't athletes that want to train like one because it's a lot of fun. Right. And maybe you might not be able to do some of the stuff that I'm doing right now, but you can sort of start with the basics, which is what I do, a lot of the basics as well. Because there's just something I like to do just to make sure that I'm keeping my technique clean and that I'm not getting too far hurting myself. But once in a while, what I like to tell people is, listen, if you need help, if you want to get started, just give me a shout. Like I'll help you get started. It's not going to be a one-day thing. It's not going to be a one-week thing. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks, a month, or whatever. But I'm here to help people. So I'm not huge on just getting followers just to get followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I can impact like 5 people, that are down for it, that are willing to put the work in, that are looking to stay consistent. That's more than enough for me. Like I'm all about getting quality clients and giving out quality content, not just writing a cookie cutter system and just blasting out to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about. So
Very
anybody
cool.
that ever wants to get started, just let me know. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah,
and if
man,
you look at a lot of my, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I look at your videos sometimes and I'm just like, man, I already worked out, but I don't know if I worked out hard enough. I was like, man, maybe I need to get back in there. But man, so I was just gonna ask you, so like, you said your clients, they're not necessarily all doing athletic training. What are some of the other like health benefits or things that they've noticed from working with you if they're not trying to necessarily be an athlete?
So when I think this was like maybe a year and a half ago, I was running boot camps for, just Gen Pop, right? And everyone's come in, just maintain their fitness level. And one of my favorite things about training Gen Pop is, you train, especially women who start lifting weights for the first time, and they realize what kind of strength they can get. And women realize that, weights aren't just for the boys.
Oh, yeah.
Weights are for everyone. Women, you can build a lot of confidence. So getting stronger is one of those things that helps you just about everything, right? If you want to improve athletic performance, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get stronger, obviously, if you want to put on muscle, then getting a baseline of strength is one of those awesome things that you can build up off. If you want to get better mobility, so it's one of those things where we call it lift club, where a lot of people would come in to just learn how to just lift weights, right? The simple stuff. We give you the 5 basic movements, a push, pull, hinge, squat, and lunge. And we progress them in different areas. And one of the benefits, like just to get back to your question, one of the benefits that especially the women, saw in our classes, just that they enjoy lifting weights, that it's fun, that you get stronger and you feel better and you feel great. You're building stronger bones, stronger ligaments, and it's a huge stress reliever as well. So that's one of the things. One of my favorite things. I love it when the mental part gets the gains. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that happened to my wife. She has never touched a piece of gym equipment, and I was like, "Well, I'm working out all the time, so want to come with me?" She came with. Now she before pregnancy, she was finally benching over 100, and then she got pregnant and wasn't allowed to lift anymore. And she's like, "I want to get back to it." So we got a weight thing that my friend gave us for free that mimics it's a machine, one of those machines that mimics bench. So she's so excited now. It's
it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun, and you can get addictive too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I mean, my wife's really into bodybuilding right now too, and she was actually planning to compete this year, end of this year. Yeah, before COVID happened, and that didn't work. But yeah, she's been tracking her macros, lifting heavier every time, all that. And I think one of the most common things, one of the most common myths a lot of women deal with is it's oh, I don't want to lift because I'm gonna get bulky. And it's kind of yo, do you know how hard it is to get bulky? I wish I could just lift and get bulky on accident like that. Same. But it's just yeah, and so she's trying to try to talk to other women about that too. It's you lift, you can eat more and still maintain your physique, and you can eat a healthy diet. Just make sure you just keep pushing yourself on the lifting. And yeah, it's just it seems to be a common myth or a barrier that a lot of women in our society unfortunately have been dealing with. So
that's a great point, man. That's phenomenal. And this is something that I talk about quite a bit as well. Is men create almost 10 times more testosterone as women.
Yeah.
And that's a major component in building muscle. And when women lift weights, there are so many benefits to it. You healthier heart, you get stronger, obviously, you get stronger bones, all that stuff. But one of the best things you can actually experience better fat loss than men do.
Exactly.
Wow.
Like for the fat loss components for strength training for women is amazing. There's just so many benefits to it, and I've talked to a lot of women who've started getting into weightlifting that enjoy it. So when I saw a little bit of story when I started training, I was training a lot of different people, working hard, and then a couple of years later, I decided to let me kind of take this thing to the next level. Let me like rebrand my fitness, and let me sort of come out. So I came up with a company named Phase One Fit, which is whenever I start training someone, I think about phase one, like what is the first phase of, we want to make sure that you're moving correctly. So I named the company Phase One Fit. And then my first client was a former coworker who had, she had done all like the Barry's boot camps and the beach body stuff and all these HIIT and all that. And then she came with me and she started training, and then she got on like a weightlifting regimen. Like she admitted she's had issues just trying to lose weight, trying to make sure that she's getting healthy. And then we got on like a solid regimen. I put her on a good plan. And then 3 months later, she started seeing so many changes that she decided to become a bikini competitor on stage.
Awesome.
And this is a woman who she did not want to, be seen in that area. She was very shy when we were taking her first progress pics. She was very shy, but now she's like competing on stage. Like she built so much confidence. And that got me pumped, man. I was so happy for her. She was phenomenal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was like, okay, where do I find more people like you?
Yeah.
It was insane. She's really into it, and her fiance now is also like into it. She met someone who was really into bodybuilding as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's extremely happy. She loves it, and it's phenomenal. It's one of the best stories for clients that I've trained in the past.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
No, it's great.
Chaz was wondering why soccer is your sport of choice.
Chaz, what's going on? So I was born in Cameroon in Africa, and you either played soccer or you didn't play sports. There's a couple of some people played like handball, and some people played like basketball once in a while, but soccer is the thing. I grew up playing it, my family with friends, and then when I moved to the United States at age 12, started playing, town soccer. Played a little bit of club soccer, and I went into high school and then college and all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, like soccer was my first love. My dad tells me all the time that the second I found the ball, it was like I met my best friend, and I just started kicking the thing around and breaking things around the house the day I could walk. So, yeah, soccer was my first love.
What did you guys? Were you ever on a team that went to like a championship game or anything like that?
Of course, yeah, obviously. Look at me. So, my college soccer team. So I believe, yeah, I was in college for 4.5 years. So because I redshirted my first senior year, my second senior year. We made it to the NCAA tournament for I think it was like the first time in school history. That was a lot of fun. So we won our league, we won the playoffs, and then we went to it was tough. I mean, we're talking about like we played against Middlebury College, just the top teams in the country. We held our own for a while, but we couldn't match up, and they sent us home early. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I bet.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys from my team, we still talk. I graduated college 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I still talk to a lot of those guys. A lot of them have moved to all different parts of the country, but it was one of the best years of my life, just playing my senior year in soccer. That was great in college.
Yeah, that's a great story.
It's good, man.
Yeah, it's good. It was fun.
How sad are you that soccer's just not as big in the U.S. as the other sports are?
So I'm not sad about it. It's kind of expected because, I mean, you got a lot of competition out here in the United States. I mean, as much as baseball isn't doing too well right now, it still has a place in the hearts of a lot of American families.
Mm-hmm.
football owns a day in the week. Like, there's
Yeah,
literally nothing you can do about it. Like
literally,
football's
yeah.
always going to have a place. Obviously, basketball is very popular as well. But I think the issue with the American soccer that I don't think they'll. One of the reasons why I think American soccer is never going to get to the level of your English and your South Americans and your Spanish and Portuguese leagues is the path to the top essentially. So basically, in a lot of these countries, like the scouts go out and they look for they find kids who are on the street playing on local town teams, and they identify talent
Oh,
based
wow.
on kids who just know how to play well. Whereas the United States system does that a little bit, but they rely to having the MLS draft.
Oh,
Like it's like you got to go to high school and then college and then get drafted. So it's like, yeah, that's good. And right now and lately they've been finding some talent overseas, and they've been bringing in some guys who have their careers are sort of on the downturn, so they bring them in to bring popularity, and that works. But the grassroots movement in the United States soccer right now, I think, is the biggest issue, is the fact that they don't develop a lot of young talent. They don't develop and keep young talent
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
in the United States, and I think that's the issue. I mean, you go to Brazil, you can find some phenomenal players playing um, in just in the street. You
Yeah.
find 10-year-old kids who are just they play for 10 hours straight in the street, and then someone comes in and say, "Hey, you want to come try out for this academy?" And they throw you on, and then they find out, "Oh, you're a great player," and then boom, you take off. But that rarely happens in the United States, unfortunately.
Yeah, but there is a lot of love growing for soccer though. At least in where I live, there's I feel like I see more people out playing soccer these days than any other sport. Just grabbing a ball and kicking it around. It's
Yeah,
definitely
no, it's definitely it's growing. It's not growing as fast as I thought it would be, but it's definitely growing. It's great that a lot of people, because my Saturdays and Sundays when I'm not doing yard work are spent on the couch watching Premier League.
nice.
Mm,
So now that we have that access in the United States to be able to watch all these games, I even myself and some of my friends started watching a little bit of the Championship as well, which is the level below the Premier League, because there's some really good teams there.
Hmm.
And another issue with United States soccer is how expensive it is to play in good clubs. If you're not, if you're not a phenomenal superstar, so that's another thing that I think is plaguing United States soccer. But I think it's growing. I think it's going to get better, and hopefully the MLS can start competing with the rest of these leagues all around South America and Europe. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm gonna confess, I don't watch soccer. The only times I watch soccer is during the World Cup. So, because I live in Koreatown, Los Angeles. So whenever Korea is competing, then all the Koreatown people we get together at sometimes it's 5 a.m. I think this last time around, and it's I think it was Korea versus Mexico this past time, and that was insane. So we all gathered outdoors. I think it was 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And then I was rooting for Korea, but then there's a lot of Mexican folks living here in Koreatown, Los Angeles too. So we were just it was a friendly match. But that was about as much interest that there seemed to be, at least within my social circle in soccer. After that, it's just kind of back to watching NBA or something. So besides that, I just haven't really seen it.
There are a lot of things that are fighting for your attention when it comes to sports in the United States. I think that's one of the issues.
I stick to a lot of esports. I tend to watch a lot of esports. I'll pick up on the big games and stuff with football and soccer and ice hockey, ultimate frisbee, but only when I hear about them, when there's buzz. Usually I don't even watch esports as much anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you a gamer?
Yeah.
Nice.
At least
what games do you get into?
Before baby, I was a gamer.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Play a lot of MOBA games and stuff, first-person shooters too, like CS:GO and stuff. Kind of old school.
Nice. I honestly haven't played video games in a long time.
Yeah.
I haven't owned a console in a long time. I mean, my last console was PS2, so
Oh,
that's
wow.
how far back I go. I'm old.
Man, last one I owned was a Nintendo, and I'm talking like the old Nintendo
OG
with like
Nintendo.
OG Nintendo with the gun with the duck hunt.
Oh, Duck Hunt.
But after that, I never owned a console.
Wow.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
That is a throwback. It's well done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you transitioning back to some more physical activity? What
Yeah.
you said you like to work with like older like people trying to stay fit into their like later years.
Yeah.
Like
30s
how
and
do
40s.
how do you work around like old injuries and stuff? Is it all just like, here's a workout that, is modified from the full like movement and then you have to like ease them into it, or how's that process work?
Yeah, so every single client, the first time I train them, I do an assessment, right? So it's just like a quick 5-minute physical assessment where I test how you behave among the 5 basic movements, right? So I do some, so I'll test your, just like an air squat, I'll test your a lunge, a hinge, but I'll also do what's called an FMS. So it's functional movement screening. So it's just like a couple of exercises that you do to test your balance, to see if you have any imbalances here and there. And from there, that's when I started deciding how to, design your program.
Okay.
And so I don't do like a cookie cutter system where I just, hey, here you go. Let's start working. I'm gonna train you exactly like I trained someone last week. But depending on the level of training you've done in the past, or if you've done no training at all, I start everybody. I take that back a little bit. I start everybody around the same spot, and depending on how strongly you progress, then we decide how we're going to move forward. Okay, are you going to move into the next phase of training in 1 week or 2 weeks, or in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, right? So
Okay.
I try to take into account if you have any imbalances. I try to take into account if there's you have any sort of quote unquote weaknesses. And I try to take into account any previous injuries that you've experienced, right? Are you clear to exercise? Perfect. We'll move into the next phase. We try to make sure that what I try to do is I try to make sure everybody becomes a well-rounded athlete. But it all depends on where you are, where you're starting off, and how quickly you can progress through the different phases. So I take my time. I talk about one thing I use a lot is I say I slow cook the process. I never pan fry it.
Okay.
You gotta slow cook it.
I like that.
Yeah. Really sculpting the body to make it bend to your will, basically.
Yeah, and some people progress quickly, and some people take their time. Some people have to take time off because life happens. So you just got to be ready to deal with it. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah.
Oh, I hear that recently. Definitely taking some time off. Shaz is wondering if you work out every day.
I do not work out every day. So on a good week, I will work out 6 days a week. However, 2 or 3 days would probably be an active recovery day or some sort of X factor day. So basically, those are the days where my workouts aren't too intense. So basically, all my sessions during the week, right? One thing I've been trying to practice a lot is something called MED, minimum effective doses, which is pretty much means that I'm gonna do the least amount of work to get the most amount of adaptations, right? So I'm not just killing myself for absolutely no reason. I'm just doing the right amount of work that I need to do to be able to get the adaptation that I want. So I'll do pretty intense when you see my videos, whenever I'm actually exercising, it's full intent. Like I'm doing full intent and everything. If I'm doing a deadlift, if I'm doing a speed deadlift, I'm trying to lift it up as fast as I can, and then I'm putting it down. And I, do 2 or 3 reps, and then I rest for a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it takes, right? I try to make sure that all my exercises have full intent. But But then there are days where I'm just working on the skill of working out, the skill for sprinting, the skill for lifting, doing my auxiliary work to make sure that my joints are staying healthy for the next bout of, heavy squats that I'm going to be doing or deadlifts or whatever. I'm making sure that I'm getting my mobility in. I'm making sure that I'm doing my core work so that when I need to brace for a squat or anything like that, I can do it the right way. So I take a lot of time during the week. I will do some really tough exercises, but I also take the time to make sure that the skill that I need to be able to do those tough exercises are always being fine-tuned.
Yeah.
I think that's key. That's key. Like beating up your body for 5 days a week is, it's not a best way for me personally to get the right adaptation. I need to make sure that I work really hard, but every time I just check my skill, I working on my skill,
Yeah.
and it's been helping me a ton. And I really like that way of exercising. But yeah, I work out 6 days a week, but in between it, I'm making sure that I'm getting the right amount of rest and the right amount of work to make sure that I'm ready for the next tough workout.
Being sure to incorporate that self-assessment at the end of the week to see what you need going forward.
Yeah. So basically, what I do is so again, if you guys have seen, I have a bunch of different things that I use to track my metrics.
Yeah.
So I have the VMAX Pro, which measures how fast the bar is moving. I have the jump mat, which shows me how high I'm jumping, and I got the free lap, which tells me how fast I'm sprinting.
Nice.
So at the end of every week, and then obviously I have my videos to kind of watch myself to find out, what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
So like as for example, earlier today, I will just look through all those stats and say, okay, my bar speed was up, 0.02 meters per second. That's great. I want to try to get it up 0.3 meters per second the next time. Or I might need to, decrease the load a little bit just so I can be able to get that right. Like, when I was doing squats last week, it's like I was shifting a little bit to my right side. I might want to do a little more auxiliary work and a little bit more mobility work on my right side because my hip is looking like it's getting a little tighter. When I record my sprints, it looks like I'm not really striking the ground that hard. That's probably why my 40 time has gone down a little bit this week. So I want to make sure that I strike the ground hard and then make sure I piston that back foot a little bit quicker. So things like that. I'm always evaluating myself to make sure that I'm getting better. And so far, it's helping. It's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's super technical.
Yeah, it's like you're not just trying to chop down the trees every single day. You're like spending time sharpening the axe.
Yeah.
Just making sure you're fine tuning. I like it.
So this guy ran for president one time, and he uses a lot of data. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. He's big on data. And, I forget his name. I forget his name. John Yang. Something like that. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Something like that. But basically, I take that to heart, man. If you don't know where you are, it's really tough to kind of figure out how you want to get to where you want to be. You can run as fast. You can run as fast. You can jump as high. If you're not measuring it, it's really tough to kind of say, okay, am I actually progressing? So that's what I like to get done. So far, so good.
Have you heard of this? Come across functional patterns? I don't know if that's a book or exercise.
Yeah. I'm not really clear on that. A lot of the word functional gets used a lot in the fitness industry. Some people know what they're saying, some don't. And I'm not sure I understand what you mean by functional pattern. So if you could elaborate, that'd be fantastic.
It'd be good to know what he's talking. Yeah, because I hear the functional training and stuff like that thrown around all the time.
A lot.
I'm impressed by your thoughtfulness of the process. Yeah,
as we get older, like you can't waste time just like working out for an hour and just all right. Oh, I got to work on it. You know what I mean, you gotta track your progress. And if I'm working out for a half hour, it's gonna be a high intent half hour. It doesn't have to be high intensity. It has to be high intent. This is something that I like to push with a lot of my clients. Do every single exercise. Do every single exercise with high intent, because that's going to help you with your next lift. If you're doing mobility, do it with high intent. It's low intensity, but you've got to do it the right way, and it helps. All those little inches add up. And it helps.
I love it,
Yeah.
man.
And go ahead.
On your Twitter, you say train the mind and the body will follow. I love that. But do you want to just like expand on it? Because I feel like, it seems like it comes from deep down inside.
Every single thing we do, everything we do in life, I mean, literally everything, is tied back to an emotion, tied back to a feeling of some kind. And it's one of those things where if you don't, so I'm huge. So I'll take something as simple as sprinting, right? That's my favorite exercise. Sprinting is one of those exercises that's extremely taxing on the central nervous system, the CNS. I call this, it's a tax. It's a huge tax. The reason why it's that way is because of something called neurological efficiency. Basically, your brain's ability to talk to the muscles. How quickly is it able to do that? So when you sprint hard for 4 or 5 seconds, that neurological efficiency has to be at the highest intent for however long you're sprinting, and that can be huge drain. Part of that training, part of what you're doing is training the brain to be able to speak to the rest of your body as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. Not just to be able to do a lot of work, but be able to do a good amount of work efficiently. So a lot of the exercises that I do are to train your mind to be able to connect and communicate with the rest of your body, just so you're doing what we talked about, which is the minimum effective dosage, which is you are able to get the right adaptation, but you're not doing the most amount of work. You're not doing a high amount of work for absolutely no reason. You're doing the least amount to be able to get the adaptation that you want. So when you train your mind, when you train your central nervous system to be able to respond and communicate to your body in an efficient way, the body will follow. Like the body will absolutely follow you 100%. That's a part of training that a lot of people ignore, that they don't think about. They just go through the sort of the motions.
Yeah.
But one of the things
Guilty as charged.
we just need to be able to think about the sort of the engine, the brains of the operations, which is the mind, the central nervous system, and how that affects all your workouts. Giving it time to recover, giving it time to rest, so you can communicate to the rest of your body efficiently. And I think that's huge. That's really huge.
Yeah, for sure. I think some of that kind of play into like why people generally like to have personal trainers and stuff, because I feel like when you remove the worry about like, I need to do this, I need to figure out what my plan is, I need to like get this done, this, and this. Once you remove that and you can just like focus on like doing the work and like yourself and how you feel during the workout.
Yep.
Is that like what you might see why because that's why I want a personal trainer eventually, when I can, have the funds for one.
So, yeah, we're not cheap. I mean, at least not the good ones. So when I start training a client for the first time, right? So one of the things that I try to get to is the why. Mm-hmm. So someone will come to me and say, "Hey, I heard you're a personal trainer. I would love to get started." Okay, what are your goals? Oh, I want to lose weight. I want to get back into fitness. I want to lose some weight, and summer's coming up. Blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Why do you want to lose weight? Once you start asking, I'll ask different levels of why. I'll say, why do you want to lose weight? I'll say, I used to be in shape in college, and I kind of let things go a little bit. And okay, but why do you want to lose weight? Well, I want to get back into a good fitness routine. Yeah, but why do you want to lose weight? Oh, well, I think it'll make me feel better. Okay, so then we're getting somewhere, right? When
Yeah.
you get people to talk about why they actually want to lose weight, like
Mm-hmm.
the deep reasoning, which is another part of training your mind, understanding what that goal is, then you can start helping them unpack those sort of emotions behind
Mhm.
the training that they want to do and their goals that they want to achieve. Um, and once you just get them talking, they'll actually start discovering things that they never really talked about. Like I've had a client who he came back to me afterwards and said, you asked so many questions to the point where I actually kind of found out that I thought I had to be skinnier to be happier.
Mm.
And I don't want to say that's destructive, but it's a little bit of an unhealthy mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I said, okay, listen, no problem. I'm more than happy to train you and we'll work out together. But I want you to understand that fitting into a small size jeans is not necessarily something that makes you happier. You
Mm.
have to kind of enjoy the process from the beginning all the way through. Um, and that kind of made our sessions a little bit easier because there wasn't this pressure of trying to fit into like a small pair of jeans.
Yeah.
But then he eventually achieved his goal. He's happy.
Nice.
But it's a little bit of you reduce that stress of weighing yourself and looking at the mirror every day and not being happy and things
Yeah.
like that, and just falling in love with the process of exercising and working on your nutrition habits and sleeping better
Oh
and having
yeah.
mental clarity at work and
Yeah.
mental clarity with talking to your family and friends, things like that. So it's really important to understand your why, to really unpack all those layers and get to
Yeah.
the root of what you're actually trying to achieve when you want to start exercising again.
Yeah.
Hey Carl, are you into Tony Robbins?
I'm not.
Oh, I asked because that's something he always talks about. Is just
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you have to start with why,
Yeah.
and he says like once you know the why, you'll figure out the how, and he's
All
just
right.
like super big on that. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I've never really got into Tony Robbins. Sorry, but yeah, it's huge, man. The mental component is so huge, and
Yeah.
it's one of those
Yeah.
things where, and unfortunately, people don't really talk about it that much. They talk about, when you look at Beachbody covers, and all you see is skinny fitness models, IG models, and all that stuff, and you don't really see people that are, dealing with like a mental block that's preventing them from actually seeing what they are trying to achieve, and they mask that with, oh, I'm going on vacation in a month, so I want to look good.
Yeah.
Like that's just the excuse they give themselves. They don't actually think about what it is that they're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And it's huge. It's huge.
Instagram is just it's so toxic, man. And then I think, do you guys follow there's a subreddit called Instagram Reality? Have you ever seen any of those posts? So it's basically like, it's all these people posting on Instagram, but like they like Photoshop their bodies to look better. But then like you know how Redditors, they're super smart. They got a sharp eye. So like they're able to point out like, oh, this is where they edited it. And then sometimes it's super obvious because it's super distorted where they try to like, cut their tummy down and stuff. But anyways, it just kind of feeds into the negativity.
Oh yeah.
So for me at least, like, so I see it a lot, like especially on Twitter, right? Like a lot of people say that they need to take a break from Twitter just because like there's a lot going on there. There's political arguments, there's this and that, and there's also Instagram influencers. There's people trying to sell you stuff. There's ads, and that's not great for your mental, right? You look at all this stuff, man, and you are building all these images in your head of what you're supposed to be doing. How are you supposed to think? How are you supposed to? And you start thinking to yourself, am I actually the one that's doing all this thinking, or someone thinking for me and then trying to get me to think this way? And then, you start building all these different misconceptions again. It's social media is a great thing, but it's really turned into like a toxic thing, especially when it comes to like Instagram influencers.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things where, we need to be able to separate reality from a perfectly curated. My life isn't as, I don't think my Twitter profile is that great, but my life isn't as great as my Twitter profile. Some of the workouts aren't that great. Some days I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't feel this, man. I just want to get out of here real quick. I'm not in the mood today. I gotta go to work. I got things I gotta do at work that I'm already thinking about. Like some days it's not perfect, man. And we gotta embrace that. We have to
Yeah.
embrace all that.
Yeah, that doesn't always come through the camera.
No, it doesn't. Social media is perfectly curated.
True.
People rarely show their bad sides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty unfiltered. You guys can ask me anything. I leave the filter to the official YGF account. Try and keep that one good.
That's cool, man. I'm all about just like working on your mental health, and if you can take care of that, man, I think like the fitness part of it will take care of itself. You just need to get that right. That's what it comes down to.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught my Yang Gang book club takeover, but the Power of Habit book that I suggested.
All right.
Really big for me for doing exactly what you talked about. Like it walks you through kind of the steps of like recognizing the habit loops you put yourself in, like whether it be on social media or like diet or exercise that you're missing, and like breaking that loop and replacing it with another loop that you were like well intentioned to create for yourself. So
yeah, exactly, and that's a great point. That's a great point you bring up. When it comes to sort of developing new and better habits, it's great to replace, not just remove, right?
Yeah.
So I think I saw a couple of people that were trying to give up coffee for a while. And then, and I think I saw a bunch of them say, hey, I'm not just getting rid of coffee, I'm going to replace it with tea.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do things. Slowly kind of wean yourself off, but excuse me. And I thought that was very interesting. Or not, I just really like what you said there. Yeah, it's like you're breaking the loop and then replacing it with a new loop, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's a very data-driven book too. So they talk about a lot.
I'm all about that.
Yeah. They talk about all the advertisers and how they use those habit loops to like influence you, just like you talked about. So I thought that was interesting to bring up.
So I'm trying to think. I forget the name of it. The Social Dilemma. I just watched that on Netflix.
I heard good things. But I think it's good. Yeah.
It is scary. I mean, some of the stuff we already know, but some of it is like there are teams of people like on the other side of the screen you're looking at all day. There are teams of people on there just like collecting. Oh, how long did you spend on this picture? Maybe you spent 10 seconds on it because you like this picture. I'm going to show you more stuff like this. Like they analyze all that stuff. And it's insane. It's insane, bro. Like they have like all these guys from Tristan that Andrew Yang talks about, and he talks about and so some of the guys from like Facebook, Google, they talk about the fact that if you spend like 10 to 15 seconds on one picture on Instagram, that's actually noted compared to like if you spend 2 seconds on the rest of the pictures on Instagram. And then the algorithm takes that into account and says, okay, let's show you more content like this and keep you engaged. Their job is to try to keep you just on the app as long as possible so they can sell you more ads. It's some scary stuff.
That is pretty scary. I just want to use the app.
Yeah. No, but I mean, listen, I'm trying to reduce my social media use as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Especially during workouts, I'll sometimes get distracted and be like, oh, I set down the weight, so let me look at my phone. And I'm like, no, stop it, Steve.
My phone is always recording me, so I don't got that problem right now.
Oh, there you go. I should just record it.
You start recording yourself, and you're gonna cut your social media down by 7% by the end of the week.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
I mean, yeah, it's like we're all here together because of social media, and like, you know, Yang became big because of social media. So, and then, you know, with Yang Gang Fitness, hopefully, like, social media is helping people be healthier. But it's just always, you know, too much of a good thing is bad, and I think we just live in a world of excesses, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So just as long as we're cognizant of that.
Which is one of the reasons why I kind of went through that audit of my Twitter. I just, you know, kind of went back and just like removed a whole bunch of things and try to inject a little more positivity and make sure that I was actually helping and wasn't just complaining and fighting with people. So I was, you know, it's been great, man. Especially for my mental health, it's been great to just be able to, you know, try to help people and then get the responses I've been getting from people. It's been phenomenal. On Twitter. So it's like a lot of people are interested in, you know, training the same way that I train. I'm happy to help anyone that wants to do it. Happy to take you through the basics. Happy to talk about, you know, your fitness journey, because I'm all about, you know, listening to the client.
Yeah.
Not you know, I say client, but you know what I mean. I'm all about listening to people that want to train.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far it's been good, and I got you guys to thank for that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we really appreciate you being part of the group and joining us, and hopefully we'll get you on a lot more videos and get more people boosted to see you and get more people working out, you know?
Yeah, I got a few things. I'm trying to keep it under wraps for now, but I got a few things in the works. It's a couple of projects that hopefully will take shape soon.
Sweet.
I think some of you guys might enjoy it.
I'm excited.
Some of you guys might like it. But yeah, just stay tuned, and just if you guys ever need help with anything, I'm more than happy to help.
Cool, man. Well, maybe,
thank you.
Future videos we can have you on and do some fun stuff.
So actually, I'm going to turn the tables a little bit right now. Why don't you guys? What is sort of your fitness journeys? Let me hear about it.
At least for me, I know I'm gonna go back and probably walk everyone through it, like my maybe thought process on how I've gotten to where I am today in like an episode 0 on here. But I basically started out as that, you know, fat middle schooler in 7th grade that like realized he wasn't going to get any, you know, attention from the female perspective. And that's kind of where it all began. But I'll let that be kind of the sneak peek.
I have a very similar story, man. But I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I just I don't know. And then I don't know. Around that time, I was in that mental state. My dad, you know, came to me and like up until that point, like any sport or exercise kind of thing just kind of fell by the wayside, especially because I had that Nintendo too, Aaron. And so I was like, well, why do I need to be working out or like exercising? Then Dad came in and was like, hey, you want to play ice hockey? And just kind of built my body up for ice hockey and proceeded forward from there.
Sounds good.
There's a lot more in between, but now I'm the same size I was in high school. So that's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
13 years ago, I'm finally back. So.
Boy. Good stuff. What about you, Aaron?
Me, for me, like I've had lifelong issues with my digestion and particularly with constipation, where I had a colonoscopy when I was like 25 years old. I went to the emergency room twice because of my digestive issues and stuff. So for me, it was more about a journey about like trying to get my nutrition right, experimenting with different diets. And so, I'm finally at a place where I feel happy with that. I feel like, I've made significant progress on those digestive and constipation issues. And then, in terms of like working out, So for me, I do like lifting weights. My wife's really into lifting weights, so I do lift weights with her. But for me, I noticed that HIIT, like just running or jump roping, doing those sorts of things have been super beneficial for my digestion and my sleep. So that's why I'm like, I'm really passionate about the Nike Run Club, for example, just because I've benefited so much from just increasing my cardio in my life, and and my Fitbit too, just constantly moving and all that. So, that's kind of where I'm at. And then that's one thing I really like about your workouts, because I feel like it's kind of like, because the weightlifting I'm like more used to is like you lift and then you rest for like 3 or 4 minutes, I think. But then I don't think it necessarily helped with me in terms of my health benefits, like, digestion and sleeping wise. But it seems like the stuff you do it's more along those lines. So, yeah.
So one of the things that, as far as like my weightlifting style, so I vary tempos, right? Which makes it a little bit more difficult, and a lot of people aren't used to it. So basically, when I talk about varying tempos, let's look at a squat, for example, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing a 3-0-0 squat, it's going to be 3 seconds of the eccentric. So there's the eccentric motion, which is when you go down, and then the isometric when you stay down there, and then concentric when you come back up, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll do 3 seconds on the eccentric, right? So you count 1, 2, 3, and then from the bottom you got to come up as quickly as you can, right? So that kind of varies the tempo. This is something that I've actually talked to people about when you are at home training during COVID and you couldn't get weights. One of the ways that you make your workouts a little bit tougher and sort of better strength training is to do tempo training. So if you squat for 5 seconds and then come back up as quickly as you can, you vary that tempo. It's not just like down and then up and then down and up again. So this is something that I do a lot that I think you might like.
Okay.
If you want to try it.
Yeah.
And so you can do the tempo a bunch of different ways. You can do 3 seconds on the way down and then come back up as quickly as you can. You can come down quick and then hold it there for 3 seconds and then, take, 1 second to come back up. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it to just vary that tempo, which I think might be something that you might be interested in, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
By all means, shoot me a message at some point and we can talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, awesome. Will do.
Yeah, it's one of those ways that you can have a little more fun with your workouts and crush your legs.
For sure.
Yeah, I always like working those legs till they quit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing one of the things that I think one of you guys commented on one of my videos was I also train kids. So that's also been like a pretty good eye opener for me. It's amazing so basically with them, most of the time we play games.
Oh, nice.
We play tag, we run obstacle courses, we play The Floor is Lava, things like that. And it's been fun to watch them develop athletically as well. And they don't realize that they're actually working out. They think we're just playing games for, an hour a day. So that's also been a lot of fun.
I saw you playing tag with the octopus arms. That's really fun.
Awesome.
You can learn a lot about a 10-year-old's athletic ability by playing tag with them. To be dead serious. You can learn a lot about how athletic they are, their troubleshooting mindset, their risk assessment mindset. How are they able to get in and out of trouble? You can learn a lot about a kid just by watching them play tag for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I have some like adults messaging me like, "Hey, can I do that with you sometime?"
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it.
Cool, man. Well, I guess it's been an hour or so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap up and go to bed, I guess. Plus, this cat keeps jumping on my lap.
I'm gonna go watch the rest of the Patriots and see what's going on.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us again, and Aaron, thanks for co-hosting, man. Really appreciate
thanks for having me, guys.
So,
it was fun.
Thanks, guys. All right, we'll talk soon.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everyone. Bye. Well, thanks for joining, guys. Andy, I see you saying bye. So, yeah. Have a good night. Really appreciate you.
Good night.